Hey everybody, it's Luke over Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got Playerunknown Battlegrounds on the MSI GT62VR with that GTX 1070. Up in the left-hand corner, of course, we're going to have GPU temperature, frames per second, CPU temperature, and system RAM usage via MSI Afterburner. If we take a look at our settings, we are on the Ultra preset, so we're on the highest preset that you can set in the game here. So we've got everything pretty much jacked up and ready to roll. Everything else is pretty much set to default settings as far as my control system goes, and I'm using a keyboard and mouse, the built-in keyboard, but an external mouse on this MSI GT62VR. So let's take a look at gameplay. Currently right now our thermals are doing very well. 69 degrees on the CPU or the GPU and 70 degrees or 71 degrees on the CPU, using 4.2 gigabytes of system RAM. Of course, VSync is off so that you guys can see the total frame rate here. In the staging area, we're looking at about 80s, 80 to 90 frames per second. Of course, when we get more populated, that's going to be a different story. I just like running around hitting people. I don't know why. There's really nothing to do here while you're kind of waiting for things to load, and you don't get any of the things that you pick up here anyway, so it's kind of just a time to mess around and that type of thing. But anyway, as you can see, we do jump around. Now that we've got a bunch of people in here, we're right around, it did dip here a little bit into the 50s, but that does not happen often. It's just this staging area. And again, I think once they continue to release some patches here, and they have done so lately, it has gotten much better. You're going to see frame rates be a little bit more stable even in this staging area. Nothing that really messes with gameplay too much, so not really a big deal here.
Who dis?
You can see once we leave the plane, our frame rates go up into the 70s and even closer to the 90s or 100 frames per second mark. What you're going to see in normal gameplay once we're on the ground is constant 60 frames per second in Ultra, but you're going to see some 70s and 80s as well. So we'll show you that here in just a few moments. Right now sitting comfortably at about 80 frames per second. As we parachute in here. GPU temperature is at 66 degrees and CPU temperature at 78 degrees with system RAM usage at 7.8 gigabytes of 16 gigabytes of system RAM. So we're on the ground, again, 80, 85 frames per second. Of course, that's going to fluctuate back and forth since I don't have any VSync on here. So overall, not bad. I'm going to let you guys check out the gameplay, and I will check back at the end. But overall, a great experience as far as frame rates go. They have done some adjustments in some latest patches for optimization, and I think that they've done a pretty good job here. Of course, coupled with the GTX 1070, you're going to expect to be able to play this on the highest settings possible at over 60 frames a second. For the most part. So there's Playerunknown's Battlegrounds on the GT62VR by MSI with that GTX 1070, and it does a great job at hanging in there. GPU temperature 70 degrees Celsius, CPU temperature right around 79 degrees Celsius. Again, during on-the-ground gameplay, we were seeing anywhere from 60 to 80 frames per second, using about 8 gigabytes of the 16 gigabytes of system RAM. So overall, a very playable experience on ultra settings, as you can see here. So if you're looking to play Playerunknown's Battlegrounds on the MSI GT62VR, you're going to have no problems whatsoever doing that in ultra quality. This was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. If you want to see any other games on this laptop, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Remember to like, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, because that always helps me out. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.